What's going on, everyone? Simply Zach, back at you again with another Minecraft video today. On today's video, we're actually going to be taking a sidestep from the old Vault Hunters map just for a week. I've got some really cool builds planned on Vault Hunters, and I'm finalizing them in a creative map before I build them. I'm going to actually try to time-lapse that, so that's going to be exciting stuff. Make sure you tune in next week to see what that's all about. In the meantime, though, I thought it was a perfect time to take a tour of our long-running 5-year-old Bedrock realm. Without further ado, let's get in here. So a little backstory about this map. It's actually a map that predates realms by a little bit. It was a multiplayer map before it was a realm. Me and my buddy Chad would play on here sometimes over the years, take breaks as Minecrafters usually do. But eventually I loaded it onto a realm and a few of my friends and my wife joined in, and we've all just kind of been chipping away and playing on it for a while now. So it is a mostly vanilla experience, vanilla survival I should say. Yes, so this is a realm that was a multiplayer map first and is now a realm obviously, and it's open across platform and all that fun stuff. We've got quite a few builds and things to get into today, so let's hop right in. As you can see here, we're actually operating off a nether hub system, and on the Bedrock edition you can't actually get onto the roof of the nether, so it's actually dug out manually through the top of the nether right along the bedrock in most places. And that's just how we get from point to point. On a map that's this old, you actually kind of need to use systems like this, because if you go in the overworld and explore, you will bloat the map considerably. And Bedrock Edition does not deal with bloated maps well. This map, for as old as it is actually under a gig big still somehow. And that's been through a lot of effort on us the players, making sure we don't go out and frivolously explore. We use portals, try to get to a good area, fit portals to a bad area, use chunk base, etc. So let's get into the tour here. The first little bit of the nether highway is going to be rough. This side over here, we're actually not going to be going this way because there's not really too much that way besides some portals that go to like a little raid farm and some things like that. Not a whole lot of infrastructure, a lot of travel. This is the final design for the hallway as well. That will end up being up here as well. It's just a long process. This is all like packed blue ice. So, I think we passed the witch farm. So it's actually pretty grindy to do this and like make this highway over time. Especially with trying to do all the other projects and stuff on a map this old. It's just chipping away at everything more than anything really. This is the witch farm we have, so an interesting little tangent and side bit about the witch farm over here while we go over here and take a peek at it because it's along the way. For a while in Bedrock Edition there were actually a few bugs that were causing problems with witch huts spawning in at all in new chunks. So we were actually saved, because around that time is when we actually built this bad boy on this realm. But this witch hut is so close to the original spawn, it was actually spawned in from a long time ago, like 3 years it sat here until we came and finally made the farm for it. So that was a pretty cool experience to have. Basically the witches spawn right in here, they fall up, they get killed. This tube right here is an attempt at getting experience from them, a failed experiment. It doesn't really work. But you can flip a lever up there, basically turns it on down here, and then they die, and all of their stuff comes through here and gets sorted. You'll see this sorting system, this kind of wall of chests with item frames, and it's all automated pretty much every time you see it. I'll call out, but lots of items in there to be had from the witches. Nice little design, it burns off anything you don't want. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. It ended up looking kind of cool out here. So we will hop back into the nether now and begin our journey along the highway. Alright, and as we're rolling here to our next destination, back on when this map was generated, so it was actually generated in version 1.13, which was the ocean update, and the point of the map was so that my buddy Chad and I could find a nice island out in the middle of an ocean to set up a base at. And it did work out. We ended up finding a nice island, which is the central hub for the whole thing. So we'll end up checking all that out as we get to it. So our first stop along the way here is actually going to be a piglin bartering area. So this is one of your designs where you would just come down here with some gold ingots, need some piglin items, some black stone or obsidian, something like that. Just come in here, you drop the ingots on either side of the chest. When you flip it, it'll roll through, drop them off. It's actually set up on a timer that when you flip this lever, every, I think it's like 8 seconds or so, a piece of gold will drop out. We'll look at it, inspect it, drop what they want to trade for it, and then there's some mine carts to pick up their stuff. And it all gets sorted out down here into these rows of chests. Nice and organized. Good to go. Anything you don't want gets burned down there in the little trash can. Just a little peek at what the sorters look like. So those are used a lot on this map. Just the basic kind of sorting sign. So rolling out from this area now. If you go out that way, this is actually an area of this map that's so old, it's the old Nether. So that's kind of cool. Little relic of the past. There's quite a bit of nether generated around here that's the old stuff. There is new stuff too, obviously, a little bit further out, but we're gonna hop back into the old tunnel here and progress down into our next stopping zone. Alright, we're coming up on our first junction here. So from this junction, we can either continue going straight, and that goes towards the island and stuff, but we're actually just gonna hit it from this direction and go off this way to a place called Tangle Tower. So this is an area I built for my wife out here. It's supposed to be reminiscent of the Tangled area from the Disney movie Tangled. It's supposed to look like the tower that Rapunzel comes from. I think I got the look pretty good, so let's go on over here and take a peek at it. And you're greeted by a little village right there. Kind of an extra little village. You can see where she's been working on adding some dirt. I know she's been expanding the cliffs and stuff, but there is what it looks like. I kind of modeled it off of the movie, but not quite 100%. There is a little tower up here you can gain access to from the roof. It's got these little bad boys on it. I don't think there's actually a way in this tower. Gonna have to circle around and slide it right there. Alright. Stuck the landing. So coming through here, there's a nice little room in here, and then you can take this ladder up, and there's a nice little room up here as well. She hasn't really started decorating yet. She's still busy trying to terraform the area around here. And it's definitely a lot of terraforming that needs to be done, so I will leave her to that grind. That is not for me. I'll build the tower. I do love this area. It's coming along well, though. I like the shape of the tower, and that's just a little workhouse. I'm gonna go in here and take a nap, sleep the night off real quick, and I'll be right back with you. Oh, having slept night off now, I do believe it's time to roll on to our next destination here. I'm trying to keep this brief and quick because we have a lot of farms and a lot of buildings to cover. I'm not gonna go too in-depth on most of them. There's a couple that I'll probably highlight on a little more than others, but got a lot to cover, so back to the highway. And this is a good little view of what the highway actually looks like in its final form. I think it looks so much better than just some cobblestone and stuff. It's a lot of block placing and repetitiveness, but man, if it's not worth it. So rolling up here, we are at the island portal, which is the central hub, so to speak, of the map. There's a lot of shops and stuff going on here. So we'll bop on through and take a look at some of this, and that's the industrial area going that way. And the palace going the other direction, so that's going to be the last 2 stops on our trip. Firstly, let's go check this area out. So over here you have a hostile mob farm, and then on top up there, that is it was a fish farm at one point in time, but now it is a squid farm. Basically the drops from that just get piped down and over and into this building over here. And this is where you'll collect all the ink from all those squid getting killed. And then when you want to zoom up and mess with the mob farm, you just head right up this elevator tube. And in relation to where everything else is here, we're in this little building now. And this little building is the sorters for all of the mob drops from that farm over there. It's just using trident killers to kill the mobs as they spawn into the boxes, essentially. They spawn in, they get washed down to the bottom, killed, their stuff gets dropped, picked up. Same thing up there, it gets dragged down onto those magma, that orange row you can see, it'll get sucked down to it, the squid die from it, and then their stuff gets picked up by minecart, so. Nice little industrial area out in the middle of the ocean. Headed back to the main attraction, which is the island. I will take us in for a landing on this lighthouse right here, and we'll talk about the island for a second. So pretty much every block on this island has been touched by at least me in some fashion at some point. Like a lot of terraforming to get the shape we wanted, and just a lot of work has gone into this area. Over there you have a building being worked on currently by my friend Bree. She will probably be finishing that up soon. She's made some pretty good progress on that recently. So if we take a little flight down here, you can see the lighthouse from the front view. I'm really happy with the way the lighthouse came out. I think it's a pretty snazzy looking place. You got some little crops out front, little benches. So one theme on the island will be a lot of greenery everywhere, a lot of like little stuff like that, and just small things kind of grown everywhere. And I really like the look of it. It's pretty natural looking, has kind of a gardeny feel everywhere throughout. In here is just like an enchanting area, nothing too fancy, you know, little enchanting area and stuff. I did want to show off the naming items and item frame thing. So if you don't know, you can do this, and it makes like an organized storage system really nice and really efficient. Those aren't auto-sorted, obviously. That's just, you just throw in whatever books you need into whichever one they're named. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. This is also a little bridge design you'll see throughout the island as well. I think there's 2 or 3 of them. I like keeping cohesion with like bridges and stuff, so these right here will turn on at nighttime or whatever. It's nice and lit. I think it looks pretty snazzy. Headed down this way, we have the entrance to that house over there, going down that way, and then we have the first shop. So this is a shop called Botanical Curiosities, and this is one of my shops on the server here. So it's got a lot of greenery available in here, you know, moss and azaleas, flowering azaleas, leaves, some of the netherwood, mushrooms, all this kind of stuff. It's a nice little look in here. I really enjoy the way it feels. It's pretty cozy and got a lot of ambiance. Feels like a greenhouse kind of storefront there. And this is kind of all the farms that keep that shop stocked, so to speak. This is the moss farm. It's like right up behind here. You can kind of see it through here. There's the stone that gets generated, and then it gets pushed into here, turned into moss, destroyed, and then minecarts pick it up, yada yada, puts it in a chest. Got a lot of cool stuff in here though. Got the glow lichen, the glowberries, hanging root farm over here, and then right here, this is just a bone meal maker. Alright, moving on from Botanical Curiosities. Right here, you'll notice the second little stand, this little pop-up shop. It is for the dyes, for the this is one of the add-ons on the map. There's a few, I can go ahead and name them real quick. There's the food one that adds more mobs, more seeds, and more food. Gonna be getting rid of that one soon. There's the micro blocks, which are these guys right here, and the mob heads, which are those. And you can actually use dyes to rotate and scale these. You can make them full-size blocks, these half-sizers, or these tiny ones. Pretty cool mod, all in all. Really like them. And then we also have vertical slabs and one-player sleep installed as well. Vertical slabs actually haven't been used yet anywhere, I don't think. I just added that a little while back. And one-player sleep is kind of self-explanatory. It is, you know, so everyone doesn't have to sleep at the same time on the server, because I AFK a lot, and when other people are on trying to sleep and not get killed by creepers and stuff, they get annoyed, so that way they can sleep the night off. Down here, this is actually going down into a former slime farm. A little bit defunct now. I could add some iron golems and stuff to make this a little better, but we have enough slime balls. I'm not too worried about it right now. I'm really the only one who uses them for anything. And then we've got this right here, which is a netherwort farm that is pretty good. You push the button here, and it harvests all of it and washes it all down. I'm not going to do that right now because it's not fully grown. You just have to wait for a second for the bubbles to come up, you know? So rolling up from the slime farm here, I'm going to go ahead and roll over, I guess this direction will be the way we go. So there is a little area right through here where I filled in a ravine with like the stained glass effect to try to make it look like deep water. I don't know really how the effect came out. I kind of like it, so I'm leaving it. It was a lot of work lot of a ton of glass. Rolling on, this is the bee farm. It is a nice dome. I use one of those dome makers for like Minecraft to make a dome like on a website, and then I built the dome and then I altered the dome to like look how I wanted it to, and I think it came out pretty cool. It's actually pretty simple. They actually pollinate these crops. They fly around in here and get the flowering azalea, the flowers in the middle, pollinate the crops when they fly back. It's a nice little system. These right here have dispensers underneath that you can refill with stuff, and then if you just hit the button it'll harvest it, but it won't make the bees mad. So I like it. It's not the most efficient design, but it is one of the prettier designs that I have made for a farm. This ugly box here is actually a iron farm that's, I'm pretty sure, outdated. I mean, it still works, but I don't know. I just kind of leave it. It makes iron. You know, that's all it needs to do. We have enough iron now as well to where, like, it doesn't even need to be efficient. I'll probably end up rebuilding that at some point, making it look better because it's kind of ugly, but it is what it is for the moment. You can see here I've textured the ground a little bit to give it kind of a very subtle path. And we got Macaulay Culkin chilling on the Nautical Treasure Shop. So this is a pretty cool shop. This is another one of mine. It just is for all the, like, ocean-related items and stuff. I do enjoy it very much. I like the way the ship came out. It's even got a little cruise quarters back here for me to sleep up back behind there. I like seeing how much detail you can get in these kind of smaller builds, especially in vanilla where you don't have you know, furniture options necessarily, and you kind of got to think outside the box. Got this little guy, makes it look like it has a steering wheel. Even got some rudders on the back down there. And we even have these little islands. There's another one over there as well. These little islands are just kind of there to, I don't know, give some ambiance, a little bit of a natural feel to some of the area. And make sure not everything has like a building or something on it. I did add the palm trees. I think they're pretty snazzy looking. Over here we do have the, it's like a tiki bar. There's not actually anything for sale here yet. The floor is made of smithing tables and blast furnaces, so this is a pretty interesting little build. I do believe I'm going to end up selling potions here eventually. Like the way it came out, now that I've got more mob heads. These are actually vanilla mob heads, so... Oh my. A rare enemy on the island. The entire island is lit, by the way. The only way you're ever going to get an enemy to spawn is if it's drowned. Which, I mean, they do be spawning on Bedrock Edition, so... It is a problem, but you'll never see a skeleton, a creeper, or a zombie on this island anywhere. Alright, just had to scamper on in here and sleep the night off. Got dark on me. Gonna head back out here now, run across here. So there's the iron farm. This is a little toggleable beacon setup from when you need haste. And the reason you would need haste in this area specifically is because down here there's actually a, well, right now it's a copper aging area. Usually it's an area that we use to process concrete. So you would basically come down here with some items, and then you put them here, that gets pushed, and when it's in front of the water, if it's concrete powder, it will turn to concrete, and then it fills up the row, and then the row pushes down, and once this is full, it pushes out, and then you use a haste pickaxe to come down here and mine it all up, you know? It's a pretty efficient system. So, rolling on through to the rest of the island here. This is actually a pretty good little overlay of the island. The house in progress, you got the bee farm there, the boat, lighthouse, everything we looked at so far is over this way. This is the main house, which will be the last thing we go into. And then there's some more shops down this direction, and an extra shop right there, and a little more stuff on the backside. So let's get to touring. We have a nice little pagoda right here. Nice place to come and take a seat if you ever want to, you know, rest for a little bit. This is my wife's bee farm, or should I say, like, bee shop, where you can buy honey and stuff like that. She's usually the one that's maintaining that bee area over there. And then, you know, you can come through. I gave her, like, managed to build a redstone door that kind of, you know, does that system right there. But you can come in here, get whatever you need, and then when you leave, you just hit the button again, and you can roll on out. I do like the, like, piston doors like that, especially for a build like this where you don't really want a door right on front of it. Rolling around the back side here, you've got Chad's shop, which is the Inquiry. He's got a danger donkey out here with a little bit of netherite for sale that he is farmed on out. He's kind of the mine grinder on the server, so you can come in here and buy all this kind of stuff from him whenever you need some. I know I shop here quite a bit. He's got a bedroom down below. That's kind of where he lives as well. I like this little detail. When I was helping him design the shop, I wanted to put a crane on and use micro blocks, but scaled up to be full blocks, and you can actually rotate them. So that was pretty cool. You can actually get a nice look from that, like, you know, quarry box getting pulled up. This is kind of being mined out. There's some more of the stained glass effect there to kind of signify that that is a deep hole indeed. He does a lot of mining. Rolling on back this way, on the left you will see another one of my shops, Good Foundations. This is just a concrete shop. Really like the way the building came out there. That's a pretty nifty little look, if I say so myself. Has all the different colors available. And then connected to it is my last shop, which is Bibs and Bobs. This is a shop where you kind of buy all the odds and ends items, you know, random enchantments, enchanted equipment, shulker boxes, totems, TNT, like fireworks for flying, all that kind of stuff is always for sale here. So, got a nice little balcony out back and everything too. I love the way this little building came out. Tried to keep it cozy, have a little downtown kind of feel to it. One of those little hole-in-the-wall buildings, like in downtown. I do items of the day sometime, too. But, got cauldrons hanging and stuff. I think it looks pretty snazzy. Little, you know. Chimney. That's the word I'm looking for. Chimney. Over here, you have one of my wife's shops. She has got things available on the sweet side of the item scale there, you know, cookies and golden carrots, cakes, all that kind of stuff. These are some of the cakes from that More Foods add-on I was talking about there. If you continue on down the way here, you have a nice little waterfall, nice little scenic view. Pretty. You have one of my wife's other shops, her restaurant down on the shoreline here. You can come out, have a sit, have a meal. She's got a menu over there where you can buy meals. It's like a certain amount of fish and like vegetables and stuff per diamond. It's a pretty fun little way to set up a shop. Really like the way the little patio came out on that. And then across the bridge, you have a willow tree that I kind of designed. Nice little tree. You can come over here and sit in the swing, have a chill. You will hear plenty of cows down here as well, because there are a few. So this is basically a little cow farm. You breed them up, they'll just fall through, the babies will fall, and then you go down there and take care of that whenever you want. There's also supposed to be sheep here, but they despawned at some point, so that kind of sucks. Gonna be fun getting them back in here, I'm sure. I guess from this point right here, we can actually fly across the way right past. So this is Cheyenne's area. She's actually got a pretty nice little setup over here. She's got a little roof deck going on where you can hang out and have some coffee and whatnot. She's got some bedrooms in the floors there, right over there and right there. And then she designed a nice little mushroom going over the top there. I think that's a really cute look for a house, if I say so. The tower, I believe, is a work in progress as well. So, headed back over to the main island area. If we just scooch around the front of the house here, we can roll over to this side. And this is actually my wife's house. She got a nice little frog sitting atop a mushroom. I like the little mushroom theme we got going on around here. Got little clouds and stuff. It's a nice little setup in here. Even got a little beehive out front. So moving across the Strawberry Bridge here, we have her last shop. So the last shop over here is Orchid Unite. It's a cute little like home shop setup. Nice little awning out front, and you have all the different flowers and stuff for sale. You also have some of the modded seeds and stuff available here as well. I do really like the way the snow and the purple and that all blends together. It's a nice looking house. Got a little picnic and flower garden right over here. using of course some of the items, some micro blocks, and some of the items from the food mod. Inside the frog, you have a little reading nook in the park, so that's a nice little detail I enjoy quite a bit. And then connected to this bad boy, you have the train station, and that actually rolls down to a really ugly villager trading hall that I'm not going to bother going down and checking out, just because there's no point to it. It's just a bunch of villagers. You know what a trading hall looks like at this point, more than likely. I'm actually, one of my projects I want to take on is rebuilding a better one of those. But this is the pier, so I really like this design for the pier. I feel like it looks pretty good. The way I got the walls to not connect with this is these are actually half slabs, so it actually has that pier-like feel. It's based on a lot of the piers I see down around the Gulf Coast, so super happy with the way this came out. It functions well for fishing and for just parking boats, you know, basic pier stuff. I got a few of those conduits kind of scattered around too from builds. I would just leave them, so anytime you're in the water in this area, you got the conduit effect.